Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and we're coming to you on BC Day. It's a long weekend here for people in this part of the world. I think there's a few different celebration holidays around the country, around the world, but BC Day here, I'll take it. It doesn't really matter when you're not working, day in, day out. I think some people just don't really see it as a holiday, but holiday nonetheless for a lot of those people that got to do their 9 to 5s. Thank you for joining us today, Jason, on this holiday Monday. Appreciate it as always. How was your long weekend?
Long weekend was good. I had to be reminded that there was actually a long weekend because obviously I'm not aware, just not aware of a lot of things nowadays. But yeah, I wasn't aware that there was even a long weekend. But funny thing that happened, even though it wasn't a long weekend, I still got my food in. I still went to friends' places. I didn't even know, but I was just like, it just so happened that way. So I went and saw on Saturday, I saw my buddy that actually works in the same industry as us.
Yeah.
He just has a newborn baby, so I was able to see the new addition to his family, and hang out and have dinner. It was awesome. And then yesterday was over at another friend's out in North Van. His wife is an exemplary cook, and so she barbecued. Okay, let me see if I can remember. She barbecued chicken wings, awesome. Had barbecued mussels with some prawn and shrimp mixed into it, stuff, and chicken burger. It was awesome. Wow. I just kept eating and eating and eating and eating and eating. Like I tried to eat as much until I can't eat anymore because my stomach hurts. I went little kid mode where I'm just like I'll keep eating until I can't eat anymore. It was delicious.
Nice.
Delicious.
That's good. Yeah, you reminded me of my weekend a little bit as well. We decided we would just kind of head downtown and just trip around a little bit, try to hit some happy hours and some places we haven't been. We went to this really amazing place. It's down in Mount Pleasant area, few blocks from MPF. Never knew it existed until we just were walking by and heard this really loud music and popped in there. It's an old heritage home that they've converted into a bar, and I believe I think it's called Heritage or something. It's Mount Pleasant area, and you walk in there and it's old furniture from 50s, 60s, 70s. We ended up sitting on these old lawn chairs on the patio. It was pretty neat, pretty cool there. And we ordered some happy hour food, and that just started us. We ended up hitting like 4 places, ate food at every one of them, and I ended up pretty stuffed, pretty happy. And it was a really cool day. We just totally unplanned and hitting a lot of really neat new spots.
Oh, nice, man. It's always good hitting new spots, trying new places out, and then eating at every single spot. I'm sure the food was exemplary. Was it really good? Every spot?
Yeah, every spot was great food. Yeah, very good. I like going to this speakeasy place called the Narrow. Have you ever been there?
Whereabouts is that? It sounds familiar.
It's on Main and around between 2nd and 3rd on Main.
Okay. I think I
it's a hidden, out of the way place, speakeasy. You wouldn't even know it's there unless somebody knew you. Last time I was there, I looked at the menu. It's a Mexican food menu. I'm looking at the menu, and everything's about $3, $4, $5, $6 each menu item, and I just kept looking at it, thinking, I don't really know what to get. I don't know what to get. So the waiter came over and I said, just give me one of everything. And so it came, and I'm just eating, like, I think there was 9 meals maybe. And so I'm eating a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Oh my God. I ended up eating way too much. It just ruined the rest of the night. I could barely sit. I could barely drink another drop of beer. I was just like, oh my God, I just way overkilled myself. So yeah, that was the last time I ordered everything off the menu. But Lorraine said, she was like, what the hell were you doing? I was like, everything was so cheap and I just couldn't really narrow it down. So I thought, might as well try them all. But this time I was more reasonable. We did stop in there. I had myself a nice Mexican dish, but yeah, I don't think I'll order everything off the menu again.
You know what? We're getting old. You know,
Yeah.
it gets hard to just try to devour everything. Like, it's not like how we were when we were younger, where it's
No.
like, oh, I can do this for days,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But
I know. It's too bad when age catches up with you with that kind of stuff, because yeah, you sort of forget at times.
no, no, you definitely forget, especially if the food is really good. Especially
Yeah.
if the food's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we had a really good weekend. It was great. Nice to be out. Did a lot of fun things, but man, there was so much sports that I was recording it all and then coming home and watching it later. Man, I just was like consumed. I think I was up till like 3, 4 in the morning last night watching sports because I had so much recorded. Then I had to wake up early and watch a bunch more, and oh, it was insane. One of the biggest stories of the weekend was the Toronto Blue Jays were coming in to a weekend series against the Boston Red Sox, fresh off getting killed by the Baltimore Orioles, looking really bad doing so, and really starting to make a lot of the Toronto Blue Jays faithful a little worried about what was going on with them. They brought up a guy from the farm team. His name is Davis Schneider. They drafted him years ago. I think he was drafted in the 28th round. And that round doesn't even exist anymore. They've cut it down much because there was guys that were getting drafted in the 28th, 30, 35th round that, we're never going to see a Major League Baseball field. So they pared it down a bit. But this guy came in and he just kept battling, had a really good year on the farm. They have their farm team down in Buffalo. He was doing pretty good. And so they thought, oh, we'll bring him in. He might be a little injection of some offense on this squad. He came in and he set a major league record. His very first at bat that he stepped up to, he had hit a home run. It hadn't been done in I think 15 years, a guy hitting a home run in his first at bat of his career. And then he just kept hitting all weekend long. He became the first major league player in 130-year history of MLB to get 9 hits with 2 home runs in his first 3 games. The guy was just on fire. He was just having a blast. He's a little 5'9" firecracker that just came in looking like he's having so much fun. He's got a nice mustache and squat little body, and bam, he just been bashing the ball. It was amazing to see, setting records that have never been seen in 130 years of Major League Baseball. It was really, really, really fun to watch. I had to watch all the games and see everything that he did. It was cool.
So little guy. So is he like? Would you say same stature as, let's say, I'm going to go back a little bit, like a Craig Biggio or a Mookie Betts, kind of like that?
Yeah, like a Mookie Betts. Yeah, he looks like that. Yeah, Craig Biggio. Craig Biggio's son is on the Blue Jays right now. Calvin Biggio. Yeah, pretty similar. Maybe even a little shorter than those guys. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty neat. I've got a stat in front of me. Out of the Blue Jays' entire history, in their first 3 games in any other guy's career, the most anybody had was 6 hits. And there's 5 other guys on the list. Bo Bichette, who's on the team right now. Rowdy Tellez, he's on Milwaukee now and good player. Aaron Hill, great career. Lloyd Moseby, one of the best Blue Jays of all time. And then the guy on the list that really blew my mind was Danny Ainge.
What?
He comes into his Major League Baseball career. He gets 6 hits in his first 3 games. And the Blue Jays are like, yeah, I'm so glad we drafted this guy. And then very soon after, they regretted it because he went to basketball, ended up having an amazing NBA career, is still an executive in the NBA to this day. And I was like, Danny Ainge is on the list back from 1979.
Wow.
Pretty neat to see a guy that's he was that talented at baseball and basketball.
Yeah, it's funny that it's clear that Ainge could have gone either way. Could have went to baseball or basketball. But lucky for us, he went to basketball. So good stuff.
Yeah, another guy had got 9 hits in his first 3 games back in 1934, but he didn't have those 2 home runs like this guy has. And now the team is already calling him Davis Babe Schneider, after Babe Ruth. They are just loving this guy. You couldn't have believed the smiles, the cheers, the jumping up and down, the high fives, all the energy that he brought to this team this weekend. It was amazing.
So does that mean he gets to stay with the team if
Yeah.
he does something like that? Because it's like, oh, so did I do enough to stay? You're gonna send me back down?
He was batting down in the lineup that first game, down in the lineup a bit. Second game, third game, they had him third in the lineup, and today he's leading off the game. The game just got underway, and it's pretty amazing. I'm blown away. It was really cool to see his friends and his family there. Everybody was having a ball. Just couldn't believe what this guy's doing. He's 24 years old. Finally getting an opportunity and coming in and hitting so well. They are starting a 4-game series against Cleveland this weekend, and Cleveland had a series against Chicago this past weekend. Yesterday Saturday they had a game, and there was a little bit of a collision at second base. The White Sox player, did you see that? Yeah, the White Sox player was trying to tag out the guy heading into second base. They had a little bit of a scuffle, few words, dropped their gloves, started going toe to toe, and the Cleveland guy Jose Ramirez ended up dropping the White Sox player with a shot on the chin, and it was pretty wild. You get to see the highlights of that?
Yeah, I saw it. And it seems that they had previous beef with each other.
Right.
So that's what made sense because he had a problem with the way that Anderson tagged him. That was the White Sox player. Anderson tagged him. I looked at it, but I'm not a baseball guy, so I'm like, I didn't see what the problem was because I'm like, it looked like a tag and just try to tag him out. But Ramirez had a big problem with it.
Yeah.
So he came up, and then as soon as Anderson squared up and chucked his glove to the ground, I'm like, oh, okay, they're gonna go for it. And then you see I'm just gonna get out of the way of these two, right? So you see him step back, and I'm like, all right, well, okay, so they're gonna go at it. And then he caught him with a wide right hook.
Yeah.
He caught him with a hook, man. And then it's like down goes. And then I don't know if you heard this, but there was on one of the broadcasts, you hear the guy goes, down goes Anderson, down goes Anderson. And I'm like,
I know, it was awesome. It was like he was a boxing announcer immediately. Yeah, I know, I did hear that. It was pretty wild. Usually there are bench clearing brawls and there are some fights, but not often are punches landed. Usually because a guy gets beamed or the ball goes right by his face and he throws down his bat and runs at the pitcher. But it's been a while since I've seen a play like that. Goes back to Jose Bautista and Roofnet Odor. They had a skirmish, and do you remember Odor ended up hitting him? His glasses flew off, and it was a pretty amazing punch that he landed in that exchange.
Yeah, no, that was a very amazing punch. But I think that was the most ejections so far this year for one singular game. Yeah. I think like 6 people got tossed and stuff like that, which is great because the next time they play, fireworks are going to be going off. They don't like each other.
There's already been some trash talking and social media. Look out for next time. Major League Baseball handed down some suspensions today. Tim Anderson ended up getting a 6-game suspension. Jose Ramirez gets 3-game suspension, and 8 other guys got various suspensions, usually almost all of them about a game or 2. So pretty wild. Quite a crazy exchange. Hopefully the Blue Jays don't get involved. Cleveland's here, or they're in Cleveland playing the Guardians, and hopefully the Blue Jays don't have anything like that because we don't want anybody suspended or even injured in some kind of skirmish.
Yeah, exactly. Well, nobody from the Blue Jays. The Guardians can have as many guys as they want suspended. That's fine. They're used to it.
Yeah. There was another major league debut of a pitcher this weekend. I think it was yesterday. His name is Leon Richardson. Not a great debut. His first pitch of his Major League Baseball career ends up getting sent over the wall, deposited for a home run. He regroups himself, asks for a different ball, throws that ball away, asks for a different ball, throws up his second pitch, boom, another home run. Haven't seen that happen in many years in baseball, and he was a little distraught all by himself in the dugout after he left the game a little later. He's a pitcher for Cincinnati, and his debut didn't go as well as Babe Schneider's did.
No, it actually went the complete opposite way of Schneider's. So hopefully he didn't lose too much confidence.
Yeah, Jesus. We are 1 month today until the NFL regular season kicks off. It will be the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs against the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football. Exactly 1 month away today. Pretty cool. We got 4 preseasons games left for everybody, and can you believe it's just a month away?
No, not when you say it like that. I knew it was coming close, but like now when you say it like it's just literally a month away, you're like, oh, well that. But also too, that's a good thing because I'm like, I was kind of starved to watch something because there's really not much to watch. Like I can't just keep watching women's soccer. I'm sorry. It's not doing it for me. It just really is.
Okay. Yeah. It's been harder and harder to find sports if your favorite sports aren't happening. I always find a ton to watch. I got in a little bit of trouble this past week because I was watching the World Disc Golf Championships, and I have got some friends that are lovers of disc golf, but you don't really see much coverage on it. But ESPN every year does a whole day where they show ESPN the Ocho, ESPN 8, and they show their obscure sports, and that was one of the many obscure sports they were showing that day. And Lorraine comes in and she's like, I am definitely not watching this. You got to find something else to watch, please, because I don't want to watch disc golf championships. So it made me laugh quite a bit.
Yeah, well, that would make me laugh too. It's like I'm willing to watch a lot of things, just not this one.
No. You mentioned the Women's World Cup. The U.S. got beat. Very controversial penalty kicks. The goaltender had stopped the ball. It spun up in the air. It ended up crossing the line. She was trying to sweep it out and thought she had. She was celebrated. The Americans celebrated. They went to the VAR video review and saw that it had just crossed the line, gave Sweden the victory, knocked off the 2-time defending champion Americans there. And first time U.S. has ever been eliminated this early. They've been on the podium for every single Women's World Cup. And this really took a big hit for the fans of the Americans. And they did not respond very well. They're all pretty upset and pretty mad. They got knocked off so early. But there have been a ton of upsets in this Women's World Cup, and Americans just couldn't survive.
No, they couldn't, but hopefully they got served like a tremendous heaping of humble pie. Because if I remember correctly from the last Women's World Cup, they weren't great winners.
No,
if I recall correctly, they weren't great winners.
Very mean.
So I'm quite happy to see that they got an early exit and that they got a little bit of their own medicine. I hope the Swedish players danced like it was 1999 and just was like, yeah, best feeling ever.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, they were celebrating. They were partying. It was like they won the World Cup already. That was their World Cup. Canada knocked out. We mentioned last week. Lots of other teams knocked out. The favorite now is the UK. They're heavy favorites to take it all. They ended up winning today against Norway, and Australia won. So yeah, it's going on. But I'm not invested in it. I'm watching a little bit here and there, but I'm definitely not invested in it. And I'm trying to watch other things. The other thing that was really big over the weekend was Lionel Messi again, getting 2 goals, getting a goal in the I think it was the 84th minute that
Yeah.
ended up tying it. It went into extra time, shootout. He scored a goal in the shootout to help them win. That's 7 goals in 4 games for him. I'm saying right now that he's underpaid. I think he's worth 2 billion, not 1.3. He is just dominating the living hell out of these guys, running little circles around them and scoring at will. It's incredible.
I wonder if he's just like, I thought it would be a tad bit harder, but he's just like, or not, because Miami. If I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were at the bottom of the league. They weren't very good last year.
No, they've been struggling. Yeah,
Yeah, they've been garbage.
Pretty new
So,
expansion team. Yeah.
so now that they've come, now that Lionel Messi has come, they're undefeated. He's got 7 goals in 4 games, and he's just like, yeah, and I'm not even at the height of my powers anymore. I'm an old man just trying to get by. You know, this is
Yeah.
this is like this is literally my retirement, and I'm just like, yeah, I didn't know that you guys were going to be so like not good. So whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm very curious to see how many goals he ends up with at the end of the season. Is he
Yeah,
going to break the record?
I really wish he could have played there this whole season, because he's tied right now for the most goals on Miami with a guy that's played 28 games and he's played 4. Joseph Martinez has 7 goals in 28 games, and Robert Taylor has 5 in 27 games, and Leonardo Campana has 4 goals in 22 games. So he's blowing away every one of his teammates beyond belief, and they've played like 27 28 games, and he's played 4. That's just shocking to see and pretty awesome to watch. TSN's doing a top 10 today on all-time Lionel Messi goals. Don't miss it. That's a pretty amazing top 10. He's got about 30, 40, 50, highlight reel goals out of his 800 in his career. It's just spectacular what he's been able to do, and it's great to see when he's able to come over here and show them there's levels to this game, and you guys gotta raise it a hell of a lot to get anywhere close to my level.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what though, his buddy David Beckham that he managed to entice to get to play on his team was just like, oh no, it's good over here. You're gonna have a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And Messi, now that he's here, is like, oh yeah, man, this is a lot of fun. Like I get to score whenever I want. It's like feels like nobody's guarding me. At least they're trying, but they're not very good. And so yeah, man, this is great. This is great.
Yeah, he's loving life. I'm sure he's the king of Miami already. He's never gonna have to buy a meal, pay for a drink. He's got the world by the tail there. It's incredible. Some other big stories on the weekend were from the world of golf. The PGA Tour was going into this weekend, the last weekend of the regular season, heading into the playoffs starting on Thursday this week. It was really a lot of drama because the PGA changed the rules this year, and in the playoffs are only the top 70 guys. In the first 13 years of the playoffs, it was the top 125 guys made the playoffs and had an opportunity to get that big money and continue on. This is down to 70, and there was some really big names of guys that were on the cusp of possibly not making the playoffs. Justin Thomas, former world #1, was there. Adam Scott, a guy who's Australian, who's been in the playoffs every single solitary year that the playoffs have existed in the PGA Tour. He was risking not making it. There was a couple guys that were contending for the lead all the way through the weekend, and if they didn't win or finish second, they were out of the playoffs 100% as well. A lot of drama, really amazing golf to watch, and I enjoyed it immensely. Justin Thomas had his opportunity to get into the playoff. He was on 18 and he had a chip that he needed to make the playoffs. If he missed and had to get a subsequent putt in, he was going to miss it. He chipped it. It bounced once, twice. It hit the pin and it fell a little bit wide. he dropped onto the ground holding his head. He couldn't believe how close he was to making the playoffs. He fell short and couldn't make it in. Adam Scott fell short. Billy Horschel fell short. A few of the younger guys made it in there, and now they get a chance at the massive prize pool there. $100 million, I think, or $75 million purse for these playoffs. So a lot of money for these top 70 guys. It'll be whittled down from 70 after this weekend down to 50, down to 30 for the Tour Championship. So it's a 3-week playoff and a lot of money riding over these next 3 weeks.
So are you saying that whoever wins the tournament, wins the playoff outright, makes 75 million?
The winner, I think the purse is I think it's 18 million for the winner. The total purse is 75. I think it's 18 million for the winner. So
okay, and then it's divided up.
And it just goes down the chain, down to the 30th guy.
Okay.
Each of these tournaments in the playoffs, there is money up for grabs, and you depending on where you finish is where you get the money. But that $75 million Tour Championship is looming large over the next couple of weeks. So these guys are all grinding heavily to try to make it in there.
Okay. Since I don't know, so I'm going to ask. They've always had this tournament, right? And
it's been going. I think it's either its 13th year or 14th year. I believe it's the 14th season they've had the playoffs.
Okay, so and this is one of their more lucrative ones for the players to win, right?
Yeah.
So now that they got the Saudis involved, I wonder how much that one is going to be worth.
Yeah. Yeah, might just be mind-blowing. Just crazy.
They might just double it.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Saudis, Live Golf had a tournament this weekend. It was also in the States at a course called Greenbrier, and they were in full. They were really trying to compete, try to get the eyeballs to them. It's been difficult when there's a tour, right opposite to them. But they've got some really, really super talented guys. And so a lot of people really want to see these top talented guys. So this weekend is known now for Bryson DeChambeau finally ending a bit of a drought. He had been struggling a bit with his game, but came into yesterday challenging for the lead and went on an absolute tear. One of the best rounds of golf I've ever seen in my entire life. There's only been one guy in the history of the PGA Tour to shoot a score as low as Bryson did. Jim Furyk about 7 years ago carded a 58. Bryson DeChambeau ended up getting a 58 yesterday, and it was one of the most incredible rounds of golf that anybody's ever witnessed. It was spectacular. My dad kept texting me, "Have you watched Live Golf yet?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Have you watched Live Golf yet?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Okay, watch Live Golf." He texts me, and that, he's trying not to give any spoilers. He's trying, really just watch Live Golf. So that's why I was up till almost 4 a.m. last night, because I decided I would watch the entire round after all the other sports I had to catch up on. And it was amazing. He won $4 million for the win, and it propelled him up the standings. And it was pretty incredible to see, somebody do something that only one person's ever done in the history of the game in North America. It's amazing.
No, that is amazing. Because I didn't think you were going to say Jim Furyk. I thought you were going to say Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's the name I thought. Right. So he's had a better round than Tiger's ever had.
Yeah.
And he can always say that. He can always walk up to Tiger Woods' table and was like, "Hey, you did pretty good. Not as well as me, but pretty good."
To have something over Tiger, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, it would be cool, kind of wild to be able to say that you've done something better than Tiger ever did, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's utterly wild. That's fantastic and amazing at the same time.
Yeah, the cool thing about DeChambeau is that he tried to change the game by just put on like 30 pounds of muscle, and then he just started hitting the ball almost 400 yards off the tee, and then he was just able to use short wedges to get in there, and and putt. He was not that great of a putter. He was really quite stiff, and it didn't look good. Yesterday's putting, this whole weekend's putting, he shot a 61 on Saturday and a 58 on Sunday to win, handily and get this victory. But yeah, to see him finally put it all together, it was neat to watch. And yeah, something I'm gonna remember for a long time, because 59 watch was always something that people talked about in golf. Is like there was only been a very small few of guys that ever got 59, and it was like, that was one of those numbers that you thought, okay, that would be in a career achievement that only 2 or 3 guys have ever done. And then Furyk out of the blue gets a 58, and everybody's like, holy shit, the new 58. Wow, 58 man, they called him. And then 7 years later, now he's got he's got some room at the top, as they say, and he's tied him. But yeah, it was fun to watch golf, fun to watch that last regular season, seeing who's going to get into the playoffs, and then get to see Bryson do what he did there was incredible.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely incredible. The fact that he actually made 58. He actually had 2 incredible rounds, 61 and 58. Yeah, I'm sure that nobody could even come close to beating him. It was just it's done.
Yeah, that was a record as well. The best 2 scores in 2 rounds like that ever in the history. So yeah, I loved it. It was super fun to watch, and I'm feeling a little worse for wear staying up to 4 a.m, but yeah, I had to do it, so I got to see it. Big news in the NHL over the weekend. The defending defenseman of the year was traded from San Jose Sharks to the Pittsburgh Penguins in a 3-team trade, also involving Montreal. Erik Karlsson, the first Norris Trophy winner to get traded the following season since 1961. Doug Harvey was traded. He makes $11.5 million a year now, and sort of just out of the blue ended up winning his 3rd Norris Trophy this year. Got 100 points as a defenseman, had a phenomenal year, but San Jose decided they were going to try to rebuild, retool, get some great draft picks, some young guys. Decided to trade him to Pittsburgh, who has an aging core with Sidney Crosby, Chris Letang, Evgeny Malkin, those guys, and they want to try to go for a Stanley Cup before Sid retires. So this big deal was made, and it was huge news over the NHL this weekend.
That's massive. That's massive. Right? It's impressive that the Pittsburgh Brass think that these guys, their aging core, have enough in them to make a run, to make another run. I think that's more impressive than anything else, that they believe that they got it in them to make one more run, one more kick at the can.
Yeah. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs former GM Kyle Dubas left Toronto, went to Pittsburgh this offseason. I know he wanted to make a big splash there. He really wanted to say, I believe in this core. I believe in Sid and the other guys that we've surrounded him. It's actually Sidney Crosby's 36th birthday today, I believe it is, 36. And all the guys are in their mid to late 30s. So yeah, interesting that they made this move, but now they've got amazing, formidable defense, top guys on offense. Yeah, they missed the playoffs this past year for the first time in 16 seasons. So they wanted to make a big splash, and they sure have with this deal. Wow.
That I didn't know. I didn't know that that literally made playoffs for 16 years straight. That's a degree of excellence that you just don't normally see from any organization in any professional league. That's actually amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah. Incredible. So yeah, good to see. It was fun to break down. All teams got a lot of guys, and if you want any details, go onto our website. You'll be able to see that. NBA news, Anthony Davis signed the largest ever contract in NBA history at average annual value. He's going to be paid $62 million a year. He signed a 3-year extension with the Lakers for $186 million. He's worth it when he plays, if he plays, but I started calling him Mr. Glass, last year. He's had injury woes, and you can't count on him to play, the majority of the games. And so, you're spending $62 million a year on a guy. Is he going to give you 60 games? Is he going to give you 50 games? Is he going to be, able to be there to help you make the playoffs, win another title? I don't know. I think it's risky money for sure.
Yeah, it is. But then I thought of something else. Like, when I saw that they re-signed him, I'm like, well, who else would you be able to get? Right? Like, it's like, if you don't sign him and then you decide we're going to trade him, are you going to get something back as an equal if you trade Anthony Davis? Like, you're going to get like a player of equal skill? Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. So are you better off just going with the devil somewhat? It's like, well, when he's on, and he's fantastic.
Yeah.
We just don't know how long he's going to last.
Yeah.
So, I kind of saw that, and I was like, well, I don't really know if the Lakers had any other wiggle room to go anywhere else other than this, because LeBron is not going to be with them for that much longer. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a year, maybe two more, and then he's done. Like, he's nearing the end of his career. So you're going to have somebody to retain as your superstar. So it might as well be Anthony Davis.
I heard LeBron's praying for another bubble. Be able to maybe keep Anthony Davis healthy, and maybe make him the bubble boy, and that's where they won their title together. So maybe they need to have a shorter schedule and a bubble, and maybe he might make the run that they need him to make with this kind of money that they're putting out.
Yeah, or like, I've always been curious on like what Anthony Davis does in the off season to train himself up and train his body. Like, I've always been actually kind of curious to say to myself, well, does he take any cues from LeBron? Because that guy actually understands longevity.
Yeah, he should.
And he's right there. Like, he's literally your teammate.
Amazing
he's there for you to act.
Right there. Yeah, an amazing example. Jesus.
Yeah. So then I'm like, oh, like, if you're not gonna tap him on the shoulder and ask him questions, or do some of his suggestions, which I'm sure he has a number of them, then there's not much you can do about it. It's just like, well, I guess that is what it is. Like, hopefully he plays at least 60 games for us this season.
Yeah, he better. Yeah, that kind of money commitment, it's crazy. Yeah. I did want to mention NFL. Back to the NFL quickly. I've got a list sitting in front of me right now. There have been 17 suspensions heading into the season for NBA players. It's just getting to be crazy right now. 9 have been suspended for gambling. We remember Calvin Ridley. You and I talked about it. How a $50,000 bet ends up costing him $10 million. There's been 3 guys suspended for PEDs, 4 for the personal conduct policy, and 1 undetermined suspension. 17 suspensions, 9 guys under this new gambling suspension policy. Can you believe how dumb these guys are? Like, what the F are you doing? Like, why would you even bother? Why would you even consider placing a bet on anything when you're jeopardizing your NFL career? It's insane.
Yeah, you shouldn't even. It shouldn't even be a thought in your head. Like if it's going to jeopardize your career and the millions upon millions of dollars you can make, it shouldn't even be a thought in your head. And then on top of that, wow, they're like, the NFL's investigation team must be really, really good, because I can't imagine that everybody would be an idiot and just do their own like bets. I can't fathom that that's actually a thing. Yeah. So there must be other people that are putting bets down for them, but at the same time, there's clearly not enough of a barrier so that that these guys are getting caught.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
End of the day, though, they shouldn't even be considering it. It shouldn't even be a consideration. It shouldn't be something that they consider in their head or anything else. I'm playing. I can't bet. It's over.
Yeah, I'm just shocked. If I'm a professional player, I'm trying to surround myself with a nice little entourage. Obviously, a lot of them have entourages of guys that are sort of sucking money from them that shouldn't be there. But, put a guy in place that's managing you and just make sure that you never get in any kind of trouble like this. Because, some of these guys might never come back. Some of them are suspended for an entire year and they've been waived by their team, and they might not ever have another down in the NFL. That might have been it. Just over something that is not going to replace your salary. There's no way, unless it's 100 to 1 odds or something crazy. Like, nothing that you've put on a bet is going to replace your NFL salary, especially if you don't play another down. It's unreal, unbelievable.
No, unless you're Nostradamus and you know what's going to happen because you can see the future. So whatever bet you put down, you're going to win. Then no, there's no point in it. There's no reason why you should be doing that. There's no reason why you should be putting your career on jeopardy. Like, you just shouldn't do it. Just do it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. So I've got Isaiah Rodgers from the Colts, suspended a year, waived by the team. Rashad Berry, also Colts, same situation. Then we've got Nicholas Petit-Frere, the Titans, suspended 6 games. And then on and on and on. Jameson Williams, the Lions, 6 games for gambling. Stanley Berryhill, Lions, 6 games for gambling. Quintez Cephas, suspended indefinitely for gambling from the Lions. CJ Moore from the Lions, suspended indefinitely. The Lions have lost 4 guys to gambling suspensions. That's going to be tough. We were thinking the Lions were going to make a leap forward this year after a really good second half last year, and they lose 4 of their top guys. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're going to be in tough against KC on that first week. Really tough.
Yeah. Oh my God. On and on and on. And the other big suspension that a lot of people were talking about was Alvin Kamara. He ended up getting into a fight on the eve of the Pro Bowl, ended up getting thrown in jail for a huge fight, was charged with battery and was sued. He's suspended 3 games. That finally just came down. He'll miss the first 3 games of this season. I'm surprised it's not more, but sort of lucky for the Saints that he's only gone for 3. And hopefully there's a big wake-up call from him. Do not get involved in stuff. This happened like 4 or 5 in the morning in Vegas. Big fight amongst a bunch of people, and the guy got seriously hurt, and not a good night out.
No, not a good night out. I believe I saw the video of that, and I remember when I saw the video of that, I'm just like, yeah, guys should actually have security detail just to keep you away from this nonsense where it's just like, okay, so we've been drinking a lot. You go to your room. I will deal with this person. Just go away. Like, that's what security's there for. You go away.
Go away.
Take them away. I'll deal with this. We're going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. So hopefully that's the last of them. 17 suspensions, way too many. Get some handlers. Do not go out late at night, and do not gamble, guys. Do not gamble. Calvin Ridley, boom, he was that example right in front of you. I'm sure every single team said, okay, this was a perfect example. Don't do this. And somehow they did it and got caught. And big troubles for many of these guys. I hate to see it, and I hope they don't see it anymore. That's for sure. Okay, let's turn to the UFC. They had a card in Nashville, Tennessee over the weekend, and there was a lot of good fights. Not a lot of finishes. We had way too many decisions. Not usually a fan of too many decisions, especially because we got idiot judges and they screw things up all the time. But anyway, I did enjoy quite a bit of this. We might as well talk about the main event to begin with. This was at a catch weight because both guys were coming in undetermined if they were going to fight, because they were supposed to fight different guys that both got hurt. And Corey Sandhagen came in number 4 in the division, trying to face Rob Font, number 4 in the bantamweight division they normally fight in. This was at a catch weight of 140 pounds. Sandhagen was supposed to fight Umar Nurmagomedov, Unfortunately, he got a really bad shoulder injury, had to fall off. Font came in, did his best in this one, but this was a one-sided affair. Corey Sandhagen was the better fighter. He took the fight to the ground and was able to really grind out a really solid, great victory, and really put the rest of the division on notice that he is the guy that's knocking on the door of a title shot soon.
Oh yeah, most certainly. Sandhagen is he's a very cerebral fighter because he basically looked at Font and what Font does best, took away his weapons that he uses best, even in the stand-up, and just took what was given. Yeah. And what was given was him to grapple him to the ground, do that single leg takedown, which he damn near was nearly perfect throughout the entire fight of doing that entry, because his timing, the technique that he used, perfect every single time. And then every time he took him down to the ground, I'll give Font this. His defensive grappling and jiu-jitsu mitigated the fact that Sandhagen couldn't bring down a ton of ground and pound or strikes or go for submissions himself because Font just wouldn't allow it to happen. But at the same time, he was able to get the positioning and keep him stuck to the mat. Yeah. And that's what counted for the most. Yeah. And Font tried his best many times to try to sweep or get up, and then it took him a tremendous amount of effort for him to finally get up. And it was always usually right at the end of the round. Yeah. So that it's like, oh no, he literally kept you down there for the bulk of the round, for every round going forward, especially from after the first round, second, third, fourth, fifth. It was rinse and repeat, dominating victory by Sandhagen. Font really didn't even have a chance in this.
Yeah, no, I was impressed by Font, being able to stay away from submissions, to be able to work to make Sandhagen work to keep him down. He wasn't just laying there and letting it happen, but Sandhagen was great. He was 7 for 7 on his takedowns, and then the control time was just unreal. He just kept him down there. He outstruck him 132 to 25. And it was just classic, amazing performance from him. He's on a 3-fight win streak, and he called out the winner between Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling, which is a great fight. Unfortunately, he did suffer an injury. He said he tore his tricep, and he's had some elbow issues and some trouble going in. A lot of fans were booing this because it was just ground fighting almost the entire fight. And he did say that he is a little sorry for it. His elbow was bothering him, and his tricep tear in the first round, he said he suffered it, really limited his ability to stand and strike. So he took the fight to the ground and won it there.
Well, you would never have been able to tell that he actually tore his tricep in that fight because there was no tell from him. Yeah. Always amazed when these guys still step into the octagon knowing that they have a pre-existing injury. Yeah. Like that's just, I'm always amazed at that. Always amazed at how they get through like their initial physical so that they can fight. Because it's just, I do wonder sometimes, I'm like, what kind of physical are they actually doing?
Because it's not extensive enough. It's not extensive enough, that's for sure.
No, it's not. It's not. But anyways, at least this was a fight where he could actually fight effectively. He obviously won, so it's good. But I definitely I never want to see another TJ Dillashaw fight.
No.
That's a waste of my time. That's a waste of fans' time and a waste of the UFC's time. I don't ever want to see that again. So hopefully those kind of fights don't happen again. I hope.
Totally. Yeah, me too. Exactly. Okay, let's talk about the co-main event. Leading up to it, our preview of it, I talked about Jessica Andrade, former champion. She comes in, this is her 25th UFC fight against Tatiana Suarez, who had a 4-year layoff before her last fight, and heading into this one, highly touted, one of the very highly touted prospects. If she didn't miss those 4 years, I think she might be holding a belt right now. She ends up winning performance of the night. and gets a great submission victory here. Yeah, this is a girl that yeah, I would be very, very concerned about the strawweight division, because she's coming and she's undefeated, and she's got all the weapons that she needs.
Yeah, she has all the weapons, and she took out a very dangerous fighter in Andrade. And Andrade, to her credit, she was a lot more patient, but it didn't work out for her.
No.
It just didn't work out for her.
Yeah.
Because Juarez was so much better in the grappling and the transitions to get into the grappling. And once she got her down to the ground in round 2 and was able to sneak that choke in, the guillotine choke, and she basically choked her out with one arm.
Yeah.
She wasn't even able to lock it up.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, that was one of the most shocking parts of it, that I think it was Dominic Cruz that kept saying, "Oh, she hasn't locked it in. She hasn't locked it in." And then all of a sudden, boom, they're pulling her off because there was a tap, and yeah, she's just that strong, the ability to sink in that choke without even having it fully committed to.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it wasn't even locked in, and she was still able to do that to the number 5 lady in the world in that division. So yeah, Suarez is definitely on the up and up. Now, do you think so she was ranked number 10, Andrade is number 5. I guess you could just basically say that Suarez is going to take the number 5 position.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe one more fight in the top 5, and then maybe she gets to fight for the belt.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, that's her trajectory.
Yeah, that's you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say exactly that. So yeah, I think she needs one more, and then she's going after the strawweight title. So she's on a 7-fight win streak. It's the 3rd longest in the UFC right now. Islam Makhachev has 12 in a row. Aljamain Sterling has 9. His teammate Merab Devachvili has 9. And Tatiana has 7, tied with Movsar Evloev as the longest active win streaks. And she is now number 2 in most finishes in UFC strawweight history. Jessica Andrade actually has the most, tied with Rose Namajunas at 5. Amanda Lemos, Weili Zhang, Mackenzie Dern, and Polyana Villara all have 4, tied with Tatiana now. So yeah, I feel bad for her that she missed that much of her prime years in her UFC career because of injuries, but she's taken advantage of it now and coming on strong. And yeah, I think she's one more victory away from a title shot, and I would see we're probably going to see her fight for the belts in 2024.
Yeah, I think so too. She's definitely on that trajectory. She's looking fantastic, looking awesome, barring any injury. Don't want to jinx her, but yeah, she should be fighting for that belt next year.
Yeah, and she's only the 2nd female fighter in UFC history to start a career with 7 straight wins. Joanna Jacek started with 8, and she's only the 2nd one to ever start with 7. So super impressive. Yeah, great performance. I enjoyed seeing her get this victory. It was nice. Okay, let's talk about the light heavyweight battle between Dustin Jacoby and Kennedy Nzechukwu. This was a little bit of a feel-out process for about a minute, I guess, a little over a minute. And actually, Kennedy was pressing the action. He was trying to get at him and cut off the cage. And Jacoby just waited for his chance. And he landed a perfect shot, just a perfect shot, straight right to the face, knocked down Kennedy. A little bit of a quick stoppage in my mind, but that was such a good shot that it shocked the referee, shocked everybody. He went down, tried landing some hammer fists, and boom, the referee pulled him off, stopped the fight. He got the victory. It was a deadly, deadly shot, though.
Yeah, it was a crazy shot. Kennedy was putting on great pressure, by the way. It looked like he was about to have himself a good night.
Yeah.
I thought Jacoby's lateral movement was fantastic, though. He was dealing with pressure pretty well. But then when he landed that right, it was game over. Kennedy felt like a ton of bricks, and Jacoby was there to finish him off. Yeah, a little bit. I think I agree with you. A little bit more of a quick stoppage. I think inject could have taken a little bit more of a pounding before he stepped in and stopped the fight. Like, he could have taken a little bit more shots, but yeah, great win by Jacoby, and it was a quick one.
Yeah.
Round one.
Very quick, yeah, very impressive. And yeah, he ended up calling out Volkan Ozdemir. I like that fight. I think they should make that happen. Yeah, Gary Copeland, I think, you could have let that go a little bit. I don't think Kennedy, he did initially get rocked, but he was in it. He was with it. Yeah, I think it needed a little more punishment, or Kennedy could have got himself back up and we could have had a little bit longer fight. But yeah, can't complain too much. Nice to see a very good win by Dustin Jacoby moving forward. Okay, so now we're going to talk about two fights. First a featherweight battle, then a light heavyweight battle, both of them involving Canadians. Unfortunately, one Canadian didn't win, one Canadian did. This featherweight battle between Diego Lopez and Gavin Tucker, we're going to talk about first. Tucker has also had his injury woes and troubles. He hasn't been able to fight near enough. His last fight coming into this one was 2021 in March. He has won 3 of his last 4 coming in, and I was pretty excited to see him. He unfortunately got submitted pretty early on by Diego Lopez in this one, and has to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to not get submitted like this. But yeah, what do you think of this one?
Well, I you know what, from Lopez's last fight, which was pretty amazing debut, because he was pretty much thrown to the wolves and he did really well. Lopez is super dangerous off his back. Right. That's what this fight has shown me. He's amazingly dangerous off his back, because Gavin Tucker is a great fighter. Yeah. With the way that Lopez was able to lock up the triangle choke and threaten the triangle or the armbar, and then once he got the armbar, that thing was nasty, buddy. Yeah. This the way that he was able to peel him down with the armbar, and then he ended up on top with the triangle choke, but he's already got this armbar submission. And I felt so bad for Tucker, because I'm like, so he just got back from injury and now he's going right back to injury. Because I don't know about you, but I thought his arm got broken, or a severe dislocation of the elbow. It was one or the other. Yeah,
and I didn't really see the tap until I watched it from many different angles. I had to watch it over and over again to see the tap. But yeah, it does look like you see a break that happened when he flipped him over and had the arm going down. I know that Gavin was initially I don't think he was worried about the triangle, and then all of a sudden the arm came into it, and then and he wasn't able to use his strength to get out of either one of them, and Lopez has the victory. This is this game's super tough, and he has had his injury troubles, and I wish they would have put him against a striker, and he wasn't having to fight off this armbar submission technique. Felt kind of tough for him. Diego ended up taking the mic and saying he really wants to fight in Brazil. That's his homeland. He hasn't fought in Brazil in 9 years in front of his friends and family. They do have a card there coming up later this year, November 4th. I hope the UFC listens to him. And 9 years, a guy hasn't fought in front of his friends and family and countrymen. That's a long time for a guy from Brazil. And the UFC has a lot of cards there, but for some reason, it just hasn't worked out to put Diego on one of these cards.
Well, I think with that win and the way that he did it, I think he deserves his shot to go onto that card now. Yeah, I think he's earned the right to be on that next Brazilian card.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. Okay, let's talk about the Tanner Boser Alex Kamer fight to light heavyweight. Boser came in having some struggles, some troubles. Had decided to jump down to light heavyweight. His debut at light heavyweight in the UFC didn't go so well. He knew he was in jeopardy of losing his UFC career, and they put him in against Alexa Kamer, and I thought Boser looked great. He looked great stamina. I just thought he was able to win the stand-up battle, won the clinch control on the cage when it went there, and really had a solid 3-round victory. I thought he won all rounds and looked good doing so.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I figured he won all 3 rounds. And once he was beginning to put his punch combos together, they continually found the mark. Yeah. I will give Cameron this. That dude has one heck of a chin. Because there was one point in time in the 3rd round where I think Boser hit him with a 3 or 4 piece combination, all straight to the chin. Dude was still standing. And I'm like, that's impressive, because this is a guy that came down from heavyweight. Yeah. So you could say that he still got heavyweight power in them hands, and that still didn't drop this guy. So yeah. I'll give Cameron all the credit in the world, but definitely dominant performance by Boser. And I love the fact that when he was grappled up against the cage, the tight in-close elbows he was able to hit over and over again too. A great win by Boser. Great win.
Yeah, it was nice to see. He really had a great performance. He had the most strikes ever in a UFC fight. His best strike numbers was 93. He threw over 110, or landed over 110 in this one. Nice combos, like you mentioned. I liked his rhythm. I liked his pace. I liked how he was when he was in close, landing elbows, and when he was at distance, he landed nice kicks and great combinations. It wasn't just one and done. It was really hitting and sticking and moving. Great performance. I was really happy and impressed with him. He definitely needs to work on his grappling work. I want him to take the fight to the ground at times, and I want him to be more well-rounded than I think he is. But when this fight was, during this fight, he was in total control, and I good to see. And I can't wait to see him again. Great to see another Canadian. I was hoping he would be on that Vancouver card in June when it was here. He wasn't. I was kind of disappointed, but nice to see him back. And hopefully he can build off this very important win.
Yeah, hopefully he can build off that, because I believe this was his last fight in his contract. So hopefully he can get another one with the UFC, because I believe he finished 5-5.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I'm sure he will. That was a great performance, and he deserves it. So good on you. Way to go, Tanner. Impressive. Okay, talk about this lightweight battle between Ignacio Bahamondes and Ludovic Klein. Mr. Highlight, Ludovic Klein. I really like the way he fights. He's got really nice leg kicks, lots of great control, good ground and pound. And I enjoyed this fight, and Ludovic ends up getting the decision. It was 30-27 on my cards. One judge agreed with me. 2 of them had 29-28 for Mr. Highlight getting the victory.
Yeah, no, Klein looked fantastic. His boxing is super on point. And the thing that he had over Bahamondes was his speed. He was able to dart in and out. Even though Bahamondes had a huge reach advantage, he was still able to navigate that, figure that out, get into distance where he could get his shots off, and he was in and out, man. He had a great in and out game, and he looked fantastic. He really did, against a very, very tough fighter in Bahamondes. Like he's a tough puzzle to solve because of just this extreme length that he has.
Yeah, that's possibly why he was such a big favorite. Minus 260 for Bahamondes, plus 185 for Ludovic Klein. 8-inch height advantage, and he's the tallest lightweight in the division, and had a really good advantage definitely when he threw his leg kicks. But Klein was really good in his striking. Just looked very, very, very solid, and was able to come in and score a big upset victory. 4-fight undefeated streak, and got his 20th victory. Super impressive. And Really nice way to kick off the main card. Okay, we don't have to go too heavily into too much detail on the prelims. All decisions except for the fight between Jeremiah Wells and Carlston Harris. Love to talk about this one. Jeremiah Wells had this fight in the bag, dominated those first 2 rounds. Looked like he was going to do the exact same thing in the 3rd round, and he got caught trying to go for the takedown. Carlston Harris ended up pulling what amazing comeback victory in this one, getting an anaconda choke, and Jeremiah never even tapped. He ended up going to bed, going to sleep very early, unexpectedly, after Jeremiah just dominated this fight up until that moment.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Like his grappling and wrestling was on point, which was winning him the fight, like handily. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, kind of a sloppy entry on one of his takedown attempts. Harris was able to wrap up an anaconda choke. Wells had defended it, I thought, properly by having his shoulder up and propped up. But there was a minor adjustment by Harris, where he was able to get it a little bit tighter. And then as soon as Wells' shoulder folded into his own body, that's when it was the beginning of the end. I don't even think Wells was aware of how much danger he was in until it was too late.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was. Like, I don't think he was aware, or else he would have probably tried a lot harder to get out of that positioning. But I don't think he was aware. But by the time he was aware, that choke was locked in, that blood choke, and it was way too late. And then it was over, and he was asleep. Because when he came up, I think there was a look of shock that I remember, which is, well, oh man, I lost. Right? Like, it's one of those. It's like, well, what happened? Oh wait, I'm looking up at
that's just the worst feeling. You're just like, you're in the fight, and then suddenly you're seeing a bunch of people around you, and you're like, hey, what's going on here? I was just fighting. Why am I not fighting still? You just woke up, buddy. You're like, crap. That's what happened. Yeah, because it didn't look like, to me, it was putting him to sleep, but suddenly, he was asleep, and referee jumped in quickly and pulled him off him.
Yeah. Like I thought he was going to get out of it. I thought he was safe until I'm like, wait, why is the ref getting so close? And then when he raised his, it's just like classic wrestling, classic WWE. Raises a hand. If it falls, time to stop it. But if he goes, he holds it, I'm still in the fight. But unfortunately, that's not what happened.
That's not what happened. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, well, big victory for Harris. 4-1 in the UFC, 2nd straight victory. Mozambique gets the win. He snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. That was quite surprising and pretty damn impressive. Okay, I can mention a couple of things. Let's say Kyler Phillips. I thought it was good. I thought he won 2 rounds of this. Raoni Barcelos kept coming and trying to take this fight to him, and it was a fun fight for sure. But I thought Kyler definitely won a couple rounds in this one. He was using a really good right hand. He actually dropped Raoni in the 1st round with it, and was able to land that big right hand quite a bit through the fight, and probably that was the extra edge, I thought.
Yeah, it was the extra edge, and I thought also too. I thought that Phillips' footwork was exemplary. Like just the distance management that he was able to continue to keep up with Barcelos, even though Barcelos was putting on the pressure. Phillips still seemed to me to be the faster man. Great in and out, great combinations. Just a great win by Phillips, period.
That's his 2nd straight win. He's 5-1 in the UFC now. Unfortunately, Barcelos lost 2 straight. He was once 5-0 in the UFC, and now he falls to 6-4 in the UFC and 17-5 overall. Very promising guy that is on a little bit of a skid right now, but super tough, and just a slight victory by Kyler Phillips. Not a dominating performance, but he did get the win. The Billy Quarantile fight against Damon the Leech Jackson was great. I thought Jackson was great in the opening round, both stand up and on the ground, had Quarantillo in a lot of trouble. And then the second round, the tables were turned. Billy put up a really good fight with a lot of pressure. Seemed to start to wear down Damon a little bit. And he was even more dominant in the third round. Just seemed to be able to take it to him. Damon did land a head kick to Quarantillo in the third round that I thought, oh man, this might change the thing, but Quarantillo walked through it and ended up taking the win.
Yeah, like you just said, Jackson looked like amazing in the first round with his stand up and then his grappling, the takedown, the fact that he was threatening Quarantillo with the rear naked choke in the first round, but then it just seemed that really drained his gas tank, because after that point, Quarantillo definitely started to take over more and more as the rounds progressed. And and then so like as for me, Quarantillo definitely won rounds 2 and 3. That's what won him the fight. But he was definitely taking advantage of the fact that Jackson, his gas tank was running low, and then his was still great. And then that's when you began to see him slowly but surely take over the fight.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely. Cody Durden ended up taking a unanimous 3-round victory, 30-27 in all 3 judges scorecards. But in the second round, he got caught in an armbar, belly down armbar that was very dangerous. I was surprised he didn't tap, and I was surprised that the fight kept continuing. But luckily, he got saved by the bell and was able to outlast it and get the victory. But wow, Jake Hadley had the arm in there, and it looked like, oh, this was it. It looked like it was big trouble, but somehow Durden was able to survive and got the win by decision.
He gritted his teeth through it, but you knew that if Hadley had just been able to get that one necessary angle or just bring that arm just up a slight little bit more, that's his victory. Like, he was so close. You saw the pain on Durden's face where he was just like, and I'm like, so he's still not going to tap? So he's willing to let his arm get broke? All right. But, hey, he managed to survive it, and then he got the win. I was super impressed, but Hadley was very, very close to finishing that fight.
Yeah.
Very close.
Super close, yeah. Durden's lucky. Was just not the right angle, and he was able to survive it for sure. Okay. Sean Woodson, one of the weirdest looking bodies you ever seen in the UFC, but he used body shots, good leg kicks, was able to get some good grappling, went for chokes, and was able to get a victory himself by decision over Dennis Bazooka, who came in on a late replacement and looked pretty good doing so.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he was he didn't obviously have a proper training camp whenever you have that late replacement, so he wasn't able to really prepare as well as he could have for Woodson. Woodson looked great, outstruck Bazooka.
But they just call them Bazooka, so I thought, well, perfect name, Bazooka.
I'm going with it then. Bazooka outstruck him by a large margin. He was game, but he was still overmatched in this one.
Yeah. Woodson's now won 4 in a row, and he's 10-1-1 overall. Look out. He's got length, and he uses it well with the kicks. He's able to keep guys on the outside, and I'm pretty damn impressed with his performances so far. Okay, we have a flyweight fight that started off the night. We've got Odie Osborne, the Jamaican sensation. Love this guy, always have. And then he fought a newcomer in Asu Almabayev, who came in from Kazakhstan, late replacement guy that, a lot of hype around him, coming in on a 13-fight win streak. And this was a good fight in the first round, back and forth. And then the second round, Anabayev ended up getting the fight to the ground, was able to take Osborne's back, sunk in a rear naked choke and got a victory. Ended up getting $50K, one of the performance of the night bonuses, and a really awesome debut against a tough guy.
Oh yeah. Whenever you can take away somebody's like winning streak, always a good night. And Odie was able to do that and looked very impressive while doing it. Definitely sinking in that rear naked choke timely enough as it was in round 2. Got the win.
Yeah, 14th straight victory for him coming in off his debut, and impressive. Yeah, this fight was a little bit, or this card was a little bit snake bitten because there was a ton of cancellations. Jake Hadley was supposed to fight. Uzbekov ended up getting changed to a different opponent. Kyler Phillips was supposed to fight one of the Nurmagomedovs. Sean Woodson was supposed to fight Steve Garcia, couldn't. He was supposed to fight Jesse Butler, couldn't. Lots and lots and lots of changes. Even the main event had to be changed, and but it came together. You mentioned right off the top before we even started that this was weird how there was a ton of decisions. You've noticed a trend in the UFC lately.
Yeah, because like it usually goes. Well, one of the like fights pay-per-views is going to have a ton of stoppages, and then immediately the next whatever card that is, the next event, decisions, and then the next one after that, ton of stoppages. So what I'm expecting for this next card coming up this weekend, ton of stoppages. It's going to be a quick one.
Cool. Yeah, well, good, fun. Well, let's preview it a little bit. I hope you're right. It is going off early. It's from Vegas, but for some reason they're going off early. Prelims start 1 p.m. Pacific time, and the main card 4 p.m. Pacific. Obviously 4 Eastern, 7 Eastern for the main card. The main event, I'm really looking forward to this fight. Both guys are super tough, and we've got a legend in RDA coming in here, former champion in the lightweight division, and the silent assassin Vicente Luque comes in. He is coming off 2 straight losses. Unfortunately, he got knocked out by Jeff Neal last August, and he lost a decision to Bilal Muhammad. But he was fresh off a 4-fight winning streak coming in before that. As I mentioned, Rafael Dos Anjos, RDA, former champion, and he is number 9 in the welterweight, in the lightweight division. He won his last appearance against Brian Bam Bam Barberino. That was in December by submission. He's won 3 of his last 4 coming in. He beat Renato Moicano and Paul Felder. And it's funny, RDA's coming in a little bit better. Luque coming off 2 straight losses, but to me, I think RDA might be starting to fade out possibly. I'm leaning a little more towards Luque getting off to Schneider and getting a victory here.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Luque too, being the younger fighter of the two, and RDA beginning to enter the twilight of his career, but doesn't mean that he can't still give a fantastic performance. So I still expect this main event to be a very great fight, but at the end of the day, I think Luque still comes out on top.
Yeah, I think so too. The co-main event, super excited, looking forward to that. These 2 guys bang. Cub Swanson actually has the most fight performance bonus awards in the division's history. He's got 10 fight of the nights, and has always put on really impressive performances. He's alternated wins and losses in his last 4, as has Hakeem Dawodu. Both have alternated these wins and losses, so they both need a win, and I think this is going to be great. A firefight between 2 really very talented featherweights.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is definitely going to be a firefight. I think they're just going to be throwing down the entire time. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And because I love watching Cub Swanson, because he's the kind of fighter that can throw caution to the wind. And he does put on great performances. He puts on great fights. I'm looking forward to this one very much.
Yeah, Cubs approaching 40, and yeah, we might not get to see him too much more. So enjoy it while you can. Do not miss this fight. It should be a blast. This is a weird matchup between Khalil Roundtree and Chris Daukaus. Roundtree has won 3 in a row, and Daukaus has lost 3 in a row. UFC is not very well known for matching guys that are going in opposite directions of their career. Daukaus has decided to jump down. He dropped out of the heavyweight division, going after light heavyweight after these 3 straight losses. We'll see what that does. He might still have that power, but might be able to be quite quick and be able to handle Khalil Roundtree. What do you think we're going to see in this battle?
I think we're going to see a stoppage.
Yeah,
I think somebody's getting stopped. I think Daukaus is going to be interesting to see how his power translates to the lower divisions. But I do know one thing: Khalil Roundtree definitely has power.
yeah.
So Daukaus has to be super aware of that, right? Because that guy can shut your lights out at any point in time. So I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like. But I'm thinking I'm leaning towards giving the edge to Roundtree in this fight.
I am as well. I feel like he's on a really good streak right now. This is his division. He's number 13 coming in. He beat Dustin Jacoby by decision. Then he knocked out Carl Robertson and Modestas Bukauskas. Do you remember the brutal sidekick that blew out Bukauskas's knee? Yeah, and you know, his legs are just like tree trunks. When he lands those devastating leg kicks, guys just you know, can't get off anymore. And if he's able to land some of these on Daukaus, look out, he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Daukaus is going to have to be super aware of that, like especially like those blade kicks to his legs or to his knee, because he doesn't want that to happen to him, like what happened to Bukauskas. So he's going to have to be super aware, though.
The 3 losses that Daukaus suffered are against 3 of the top heavyweights in the world: Jairzinho Rosenstrike, Curtis Blades, and Derek Lewis. So it's not like you know, he was losing to bums out there. These are 3 of the top guys in that heavyweight division. So dropping down to 205, I'm interested to see how he does, and you know, see what kind of performance we're gonna get to see from him.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm very interested in seeing that, and I can see why he thought maybe it's time for me to just try going down to light heavyweight, because those 3 guys that he's lost to, those are some of the 3 biggest heavyweights in the heavyweight division.
Yeah,
so yeah, makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay, let's put the UFC to bed for now, and let's switch over to boxing. There was a big boxing card over the weekend. Did you see any of it? Did you see some of the highlights?
I saw some of the highlights. I saw the fact that Nate Diaz is very lucky that he even got out of the first round. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, Jake Paul put it on him in that first round and had him in a ton of trouble. He was landing combinations and had Diaz wobbled and all over the place. And yeah, he's lucky he survived out of that first round, but then to survive 10 rounds, I was pretty impressed. I didn't think Diaz put on the greatest performance because he was clowning around so much. I think he could have won some of these rounds if he wasn't doing his clowning and throwing some funny shots and stuff. I think there was some rounds that could have went his way if he wasn't goofing around, and I think his corner started getting really frustrated with him because he was doing that. He's known for that, but you know, I think he if he was taking it more serious, like you and I talked about, it didn't seem like he was taking it super seriously going in. I think he might have made this a lot closer decision. Definitely lost that first round, definitely lost a few of the rounds, but there was rounds up for grabs if he puts in a better effort the whole entire 3 minutes.
Yeah, like if he just taken it a little bit more seriously than what I considered that he was taking it, which was not very seriously at all. Like if he had taken it seriously, this would have been a way more competitive boxing match, but it wasn't. Like it was pretty much Paul blew him out, Nate, to his credit, survived it, lasted all 10 rounds, but at the same time, should that be good enough for you?
Yeah.
Should you just be okay with, I survived it, I got through, good enough? Like no, man, you're Nate Diaz. I'm expecting just a little bit more from you. You know what I mean? A little bit more.
That knockdown in the 5th round was pretty impressive. Diaz, at first I thought maybe it was a bit of a slip, but no, he was fully down and he was hurt, and it took him a while to gain his footing and continue on. I'm pretty impressed with Jake Paul, but it's another MMA guy that's at the tail end of his career. So, do you put very much stock in it? I don't know.
Not really, man. Because like at the end of the day, I've said it from the beginning. All right, what happens when you fight real boxers? Oh, right. So when you fought Tommy Fury, like you lost.
Yeah.
Got it. Right.
Yeah.
Now I'm more interested to see if he actually falls through with what he said. It's like, okay, well, Nate came and fought me in my domain. Now I'll fight him in MMA.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's actually going to do that. I know there's been talk of that. Like, I think because Nate's just going to be like, great, I'm just going to strangle you to death. Cool. Like it's like, dude, like, I don't know if you understand. Like, that is your world. But you go into MMA, buddy. Oh, man, it's not looking good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was. Yeah, it was interesting to hear that they talked about that immediately. They were saying, there's this $10 million PFL MMA fight on the docket now for them. And I know that he had signed with PFL, and I thought it was more to promote his drink. And, I didn't know, if he was going to be taking the MMA serious, but it sounds like they had sort of made an agreement that if he did boxing, he'd do MMA, and they would be able to cash a big check. I don't know who's putting up 10 million, if PFL is, or they're gonna try to get that money via pay-per-view or sponsorship, or I don't know. But he was 10 million MMA fight, and it seemed like they were kind of agreeing on it.
Yeah, it did, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I think I do know where the money's coming from. Saudi money. And it's just from one guy. Like, he's just like, oh, you want some change? I'll give you some change. Now you guys can go fight.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And I don't see it going well for Jake Paul, in an MMA fight. If he's, I don't think he's ever trained there. So, these are different sports, and one part of me is a little bit torn seeing these MMA guys keep going up against the boxer and losing, but they're getting these payday that they've never seen before. So, hey, I can't knock them for it. And if anybody's really thinking logically, these are two different worlds. If one guy enters that world, he's losing. The other guy enters that world, he's losing. It's just the way it is. You're not going to be able to win. So does Jake Paul care? He gets a $10 million payday for going to MMA and losing his first fight. I don't know. Maybe it's no big deal.
I would think it's no big deal because, like, I think if there's one thing that's been pretty obvious to me is he's definitely about the money.
Yeah.
He's about the money, right? Competition's kind of the second thing. The money's the first thing, right? Because if the competition was really what he was concerned about, then he would be boxing professionally.
Yeah.
But he's not doing that. He's going for the easier kill, which is I just beat up old people and then I get paid. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good on him. He's been able to find that niche. He's been able to, sell a lot of pay-per-views. That American Airlines Arena in Dallas was completely sold out. There was a lot of stars there. I couldn't believe all the, MMA and combat veterans that were ringside. He's found a good niche, and he's been able to make a ton of money and of a career that's, really most with the same skills as he has have never made anything in the combat world. So somehow he's figuring it out and making a lot of people a lot of money.
Yeah, man. He managed to take his social media influencer status and make it into this. So all credit due to him, because you came up with this promotion company. You started promoting these fights. Everybody thought there's no freaking way that this is actually going to go off, and then it does.
Yeah.
And so he should be tremendously proud of what he's been able to create, like these niche fights, because they clearly work and he's clearly getting paid. So that's why I believe when he goes to PFL and he fights in the MMA space, he's just like, yeah, I'm not really expecting to win, but that's not the point. Get paid.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah. I really enjoyed hearing Francis Ngannou talk. They had him, with a microphone for a while, and he chatted a lot. Mike Tyson is training him right now for that Tyson Fury fight, which is pretty incredible to be able to get Iron Mike in there to train you. I think that's a great move, and it should help him, Francis, quite a bit in his boxing game.
Well, at least it will help his mentality, which is take his head off. Yeah. Good. Yeah. If he has anything of Mike Tyson's mentality, when he steps into the boxing ring with Tyson Fury, that's a win. Period. Yeah. Point blank, that already is a win for you. So great move on his part.
I love seeing Roy Jones Jr. there. Chael Sonnen was there, Rampage Jackson, BJ Penn, Gilbert Melendez, Nick Diaz. There was just on and on and on, a ton of combat sports legends, and it sure brought out a lot of people heading to Dallas and filling that arena, and I'm sure whatever Jake Paul does over the next few years, people are gonna be joining in and watching, buying the pay-per-views, flooding to the arena, and making it happen.
The one thing I wasn't impressed with that I did see, where I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty cool, was their entrances. Nate Diaz just came in with his crew and walked in like a normal human being.
The tank?
The Jake Paul, comes on with the tank.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I don't even know how he did that. I don't know how you pull that off, but super impressive.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. It was mind-blowing that he got a tank inside the arena there to arrive in on. Yeah, who would have even thought about doing something like that?
Nah, man, I saw that and I was just like, all right, that's actually pretty cool. It reminded me, because actually his entrance was better than last weekend's entrance when Bud Crawford came in with Eminem to Lose Yourself.
Right.
That myself, I was like, all right, that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Tank, that's one up.
Well, yeah, he one-upped him for sure. Yeah, getting the tank to come in. The co-main event I enjoyed. It was a women's fight between Amanda Serrano and Heather Hardy. These girls are both from the streets of New York. Serrano has had an amazing career. She's actually won 7 belts, 7 different weight classes. Never has happened in the history of boxing, and 7 different weight classes out of a career. She's 45-2-1 in her career with 30 KOs. She fought Heather Hardy, who has had a scrappy career, has been around for a long, long time. She's 24-3 in her boxing career, but she's never won any money. She said she's lost money almost every fight she's had. And so Serrano said, you come in and fight me, I'll guarantee it's at least 6 figures. And this will be a payday that you can take on into your next life. And it was pretty cool. We're seeing Jake Paul kind of do this for a lot of fighters. It was great to see Amanda Serrano say she's going to do this for Heather Hardy. She's so fully beat her the entire 10 rounds, but Hardy was tough as nails, one of the toughest women I've ever seen boxing. And I was really impressed that she lasted the entire fight and was just, come on, more, give me more. It was very cool, very neat to watch.
So she earned her money.
Yes.
She most certainly earned her money. She took a beating, but she got it done. She earned her money. So good for her.
Yeah. Jeremy Stevens, time to hang him up fully. I don't know what he got paid for this, but he fought Jose Aldo last time, and they fought to a draw. I think it was sort of a predetermined draw or some kind of crap like that, but He didn't look good against Chris Avila here, who only had 2 fights in the UFC, and he was 0-2. Had an okay MMA career, you know, just sort of medium. But the Stockton, California friend of the Diaz brothers came in, took it to Jeremy Stephens, who's had a rough go over the last while, and I think it's time for Jeremy to walk away and get into coaching, doing something else. You know, I think that's gonna be better suited for a long life for Jeremy Little Heathen Stephens.
There has to come a time where it's like, all right, it's time to hang them up, right? Like, it's like, especially if you got guys of that quality that are beginning to take it to you, and you know that back in the day this guy couldn't even, like, you know, hang with you. Eventually you have to be real with yourself and be like, all right, I think that's it.
Yeah. He's won 1 out of his last 11 fights. Yeah, 1-1 in boxing, and then he lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of his last 8 in MMA, with 1 no contest, with an accidental eye poke that Yair Rodriguez poked him in the eye and he couldn't continue. But yeah, it doesn't look good seeing loss after loss after loss after loss. And he went into PFL with a lot of promise, and didn't win a fight in the PFL, and has had his struggles. So yeah, time to move on.
Yeah, time to move on. Time to grow out from fighting and just go and do something else besides, like, going into the octagon or to the ring and fighting. Like, that part of your career is now over. It's done.
I sent you a little clip the other day. It was UFC fighter Themba Gorimbo. He is an African fighter that came over to the US recently, has been sleeping on a couch in the gym, was able to secure a win, get a bonus, spent all that money on his village back in Africa, getting them proper clean drinking water, still stayed sleeping on the couch, and said he was determined to keep at his career, get a victory, get a belt. The Rock was made aware of his sacrifices and what he did for his country. Even after the big victory, he still didn't go and buy things for himself. The Rock ended up surprising him the other day in the gym, took him to this random house and said he was waiting for somebody. And then the guy looked over and realized, hey, those are pictures of me and my family there. What's going on? And The Rock ended up handing him the keys to his new home. Very heartwarming moment, very touching, and cool to see The Rock do that to a really great guy, and a guy that's just really fighting for something much bigger than himself. And from all accounts, an amazing human being, and great to see The Rock just be able to spread his wealth and his incredible notoriety. And the $7 thing seemed to really resonate with The Rock, because he said he had $7 in his bank account when he went into that last fight, and that's what The Rock said he had when he hit Hollywood for the first time.
Yeah, and I love the fact that was their unifying factor, which was, yeah, I was once there too. I once had only $7 in my account. Rock nowadays has a little bit more than $7. But I thought it was great. I thought it was great that Rock reached out and helped out his fellow brother and said, hey, I got you. And then not only did he got him a house, right? I believe the house is big enough for the eventuality when Themba is able to bring his family over. Yeah. They got a house. Yeah. You're ready to go. You're good to go. And it's amazing. It's amazing that The Rock can do that for somebody else that he heard off of social media. Never met the man before in his life. He probably did a little bit of research to make sure the guy's a good dude. But it's pretty obvious, even when I saw, like, the interview of Themba, then I'm like, oh no, this guy's genuine. Like, I'm putting it all on the line, just like a lot of African fighters have, to try to make this work.
Yeah.
And it's great that somebody was there to help him see his dreams come true. It's like, I fully support you. Go for it.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, it's so nice to see, somebody do a selfless act and, be, kind of rewarded for it. Somebody else notices that has the means to change your life and give him a place so he can bring his family over, because, it must be tough on a guy coming over to try to better himself, get money for his village, get money for his family, but his family is far away and doesn't get to share that with them face to face on a daily, weekly basis. And for The Rock to do that and be able to share his wealth, it's great. I've seen The Rock personally do that to people. I've been there when he's done it face to face as well, and recently saw him hand a guy keys to a brand new truck because he had seen him do some really amazing selfless acts too. And it's got to be just so amazing and heartwarming for a guy like Dwayne Johnson to, struggle himself and have to pull himself up and, make something out of himself. And now that he is there, he's able to give back and show his appreciation for guys that are, doing similar types of things like he did.
Yeah, he's able to pay it forward, and he's genuine when he does it. And that's the most important thing. Like, it's like, no, I know, I've been there. I care enough to do something about it because I'm now in a position where I can.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that since he is at that position, he does do something about it. It's good for him.
So great. Okay, well, nice way to end it on a really nice note. Thanks, man. This was great as always. I heard you're off for some more food somewhere, dinner party, so I can't hold up a fellow food lover like you, and I'll send you on your way. Appreciate this as always. Have a great week ahead. I am heading up to the interior on Thursday, back by Sunday for I'm going to go to the Canadians game on Sunday, but I'm going up to Penticton and areas around there. There's a peach festival and many wineries, distilleries, and things calling my name. So we're going to head up for a few days, go visit some friends, and go enjoy ourselves. And I hope you have an awesome week ahead. I appreciate it, as I said.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have a great weekend, great week. A lot of sleeping in, so it's gonna be fantastic. And you have fun with your wineries and drinking wine, being sophisticated.
Thank you very much. I've heard there's some progress on the possibility of the strike ending, progress on some talks. So fingers crossed we can get back at it as soon as this summer's done and put some money back into the bank account. But it is nice to sleep in. I take advantage of that on a lot of days. As I said, have a great night. Look forward to speaking with you soon.
Yeah. You too. Have a great evening. We'll talk later.
Okay. Cheers. Bye for now. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was awesome as usual. Always fun to talk to Jason. Wrap up a great weekend in sports. I see the Jays are up 1-0 over Cleveland now, and looking pretty good. I think there was a solo home run, I think it was earlier in the game. So great. Thanks to everyone for all the support. We're sure growing so much on YouTube, Instagram, getting a lot of subscribers, getting a lot of views and likes and comments and stuff. Keep it up. Really appreciate getting all the feedback. It's so nice to see the Complete Sports Media family growing, as well as a Complete Media Network. We've got a month left of this part of the summer, before September kicks in. So enjoy yourselves a lot. Have a great week ahead. Thank you to our partners and sponsors. Just want to say a great big thank you to Anchor.fm, easiest place to make a podcast, phenomenal at posting on multiple podcast platforms for us. Always appreciate their partnership. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, an industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And the V350 stick is a must-have for any hockey player in your midst. Pampas and Possibilities, phenomenal at really making your house spruced up with West Coast vibes and feel. If you need that, just contact our website and they'll be able to be very happy to help you out. And of course, last but not least, Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. Appreciate them a ton. You can get discounted products on our website if you'd like. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate your time as always. Take care of yourself. Have a great week ahead, and we will talk soon. Take care. Bye for now.